At a busy downtown library, a stressed parent berates a new librarian when late fines block a teen's urgent printing. A quiet janitor steps in, pays the fines with his own card, fixes a stubborn printer jam, and spends his break helping them submit the form before the deadline. The act costs him money and time he doesn't have, but it resets the room's mood and sparks small changes that ripple through the week. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And, hey, where are you tuning in from? Leave your country in the comments. I love seeing how far these stories reach. He was the first one in. The downtown library still held last night's chill. Lights hummed to life in rows, one after another, like quiet dominoes. He pushed his cart through the stacks. Mop, towels, a brown bottle of lemon cleaner, a set of keys that made a soft ring every time he took a step. He liked the hours before the doors opened. Chairs went where chairs needed to go. The rug at the entrance got its neat lines from his vacuum, straight and thin. He found the gum wrappers under the teen table and dropped them in a black bag with a soft swoop. He righted a crooked exit sign with one fingertip. He stopped at the big printer by the window. It flashed a small red triangle that had probably flashed all night. Paper jam, tray 2. He knew the path. Door on the side. Green levers up, then down. The skinny metal arm that pinched too hard. He made a little hook with his pinky and pulled a curled corner from the rollers. The red triangle blinked, then went still. He left the side door open, just a crack, to let the heat spill out. He checked his watch. The building opened in 10 minutes. He wiped a thumbprint from the glass of the main doors and saw only himself for a second. Grey beard trimmed short. Navy work shirt with his name stitched in red. A patch he had stopped noticing years ago. Crow's feet that deepened when he squinted toward the street. When the doors unlocked, the first regulars came in, quiet as usual. A man with a canvas bag of recipes to photocopy, a woman in a long coat, earbuds in, eyes soft on the floor. The new librarian at the desk smoothed her cardigan and took a breath. She was fresh out of school, eager, and not yet ruined by the system. He had helped her carry a box of cardstock on her first day. She had thanked him by name, which made the name on his patch feel less like a costume. He rolled past the computers while the screens woke. He set a stack of scrap paper by the printers because someone always forgot to add paper at the worst moment. He straightened a flyer about free tax help and clipped back a corner that wanted to curl. He didn't look like anyone important, and that was fine with him most days. Most days, he kept the place from breaking. That was enough. The boy arrived with his mother at 9:05. They came in fast, the way people do when they are already late. The boy wore a red hoodie and carried a blue plastic folder tucked tight under his arm. The woman had her hair up in a messy knot and a phone pressed to her shoulder. Her voice was tight, even while she tried to keep it low. At the desk, the new librarian smiled. "Good morning. His card is blocked," the woman said. "We have to print a form and sign it and scan it back. It has to be in by noon," the librarian typed. "There's a balance," she said gently. $42 and some change. "From late books. We returned those months ago," the woman said. Her voice went up half a step. "Look, this is for school, okay? They sent this last night and the office doesn't open until 10 and then there's a line and I have to be at work by 11. We just need to print and scan. Please." "I wish I could." The librarian glanced toward the empty glass office where the manager usually sat. "I can't clear fines. There's a number you can call to set up a plan." "A plan?" The woman laughed once, short and dry. "It's $42. Do you take a plan for $42? She turned to the boy. "I told you we should have gone to your aunt's." The boy stared at the blue folder and said nothing. His face flushed under the hood. The desk area filled with a certain kind of silence. People didn't look, but they heard. The printer clicked, as if it had an opinion. The man with the recipe bag stopped flipping pages. At the computer stations, a screensaver floated from corner to corner. The janitor stood behind his cart and watched the librarian's fingers tap the edge of the desk. He knew that tap. It was the sound people made when they wanted to help, and the rule sat like a brick between them and the person in front of them. The woman's voice got tight again. "This is a public library," she said. "Isn't this where you help people?" The librarian swallowed. "I'm trying," she said. "I'm so sorry." She looked young. He saw her fold in a little. He saw the boy's hand tighten on the folder. He left his cart and stepped closer. "Excuse me," he said in a quiet voice, to both of them, but also to the air. He rested his hand on the edge of the desk. "Is it okay if I pay the fines today?" He said it to the librarian, not the mother. The librarian's eyes flicked up. You don't have to, I know. He kept his voice even. He remembered the little training about staff not being allowed to move money for patrons without a witness. He nodded toward the donation jar and the credit card machine. I've got a card. The woman opened her mouth, then closed it. We can pay you back, she said. Reflex more than plan. It's okay, he said. You'll get him to his thing. He did not ask what the thing was. He didn't need to know. The librarian turned the screen so he could see. It's 4230, she said. Voice small. He slid his debit card and watched the little box think. Approved. He felt the tug in his pocket before he felt it in his account. He looked at the boy. You're printing from a file. The boy nodded. It's an email. They sent a PDF. Okay. He motioned toward the row of computers. Let's get you set up. He looked back at the desk. Can I load a few dollars on their print account too? He'd seen enough mornings like this. Paper was cheap. Dignity wasn't. 5 is fine, the librarian said softly. She tapped the keys. He paid that too. At the printer, the red triangle came back the instant the boy hit print. Of course it did. He popped the side door and did the little dance with the green levers. He pulled out a strip of paper no wider than a finger. It left a smear of black on his thumb that would take all day to leave. Seen this before, he said. The boy smiled with half his mouth. He took the warm pages and tapped them into a neat stack. You'll need a signature and a scan, the man said. Flatbeds over there. The scanner software on those machines had a bad habit of naming everything Scan 0001. He slid onto the chair by the boy, pointed to the menu. Name it something you'll remember. The boy typed, slow but sure. Application. The woman stood behind him, bouncing on her heels like she wanted to help, and didn't know how. She read the lines as he pointed. You see the box about the tax number? He asked. The boy found it, clicked, typed, then checked the digits with his mother. She dug in her bag for the sheet with their info, found it, pressed it flat on the table. A page jammed on the way back out of the scanner. He kept his hand flat on the lid and breathed. It's okay. Try again. The boy did. Green lights slid across the glass like a slow heartbeat. He felt his phone buzz on his belt. A page from the back room asking him to look at a leak near the staff sink. He silenced it. Lunch could move. Water would wait in a bucket. By the time the last page slid into the PDF, it was 11:70. He watched the boy click upload and sign with his finger on the screen. They all stared while the little circle spun. The email came in 3 seconds later. Received. The woman covered her mouth. The boy didn't smile big. He held the blue folder to his chest like it was a pet he didn't want to drop. Thank you, the woman said, and it wasn't loud. It was steady. She looked at the librarian as she said it. The librarian nodded, shoulders down, eyes soft. The room exhaled. Chairs scooted. Keys clicked again. A baby in a stroller made the little huffing sound babies make when they fall back asleep. The man with the recipe bag smiled into his lap for no reason. A wide stripe of sun edged its way onto the carpet. He wiped his hands on his rag and went back to his cart. Sir, the boy called. He turned. The boy held up the print card. We didn't use all the 5. Keep it, he said. You'll be back. He meant it like a hope, not a threat. He moved on. On the way to the staff sink, he detoured and refilled the paper tray. He snapped the plastic shut and felt the machine settle. He looked like he always did. No halo, just a man with toner on his thumb and a list of things to do. On his break, he sat on the back steps. He took a pack of peanut butter crackers from his pocket and split the plastic with his teeth. The alley smelled like onions from the diner next door and hot metal from the exhaust ducts. His phone buzzed again. A text from his daughter, Doctor at 3. Can you pick up? He typed back. Might be late. Try to reschedule? Heart emoji. A second text came in from the bank, a little white number bubble on his screen. He checked the balance and did the quick math he had been doing his whole life. He'd get paid Friday. The brake pads could wait another week if he downshifted on the hills and left early for the night shift at the arena. He pulled a folded paper from the bottom of his lunch bag. The clinic's logo at the top. Past due. He put it back. He bit into a cracker and felt something in his molar complain. He drank from his dented thermos and let the heat fill his chest. He thought for a second about the boy's eyes when the circle stopped spinning, the surprise there, and about the way the new librarian kept saying, I'm sorry, like it was her job to be sorry for a system she didn't make. He told himself to remember to show her the trick with the old printer by the microfilm machine. It would save her headaches later. He went back in when his break ended. He fixed the drip under the staff sink with plumber's tape and a twist. He moved on to the elevator that stuck between floors. A button needed cleaning and a firm press from underneath. He liked work like that, small, stubborn problems that gave up because you stayed. Later that week, 4 small things happened. On Tuesday, the new librarian used the label maker to print a tiny strip of instructions and stuck it to the printer's side panel. Clear tray 2. Lift green lever. Check rollers. She did it after watching him one more time at noon when the red triangle came back for someone else. She caught his eye and lifted her hand in a little wave. On Wednesday, the boy came back in his red hoodie and sat at a computer without his mother. He logged in like he had done it every day of his life and leaned over to show an older man how to attach a file to an email. "Click this," he said. "Save it as something you'll remember." The older man laughed when the file actually sent. "That's it?" he said. The boy nodded like he hadn't just moved a mountain for someone. On Thursday, a retired woman who did crosswords in pencil dropped $20 into the donation jar at the desk and didn't say a word. She only touched the glass like she balled up the night of the blue folder and the tight voice and set it down there under the flyers for story time. On Friday morning, the woman with the messy knot brought back a cloth bag of books. Overdue Batman comics, a cookbook with sticky notes that peeked out like yellow tongues, a biography with one corner bent. There was a small chocolate bar in the bag with a sticky note that said, "For staff." The librarian broke it into pieces behind the desk and slipped one to him as he passed. "For the plumber and printer whisperer," she said. He put the square in his pocket and brought it home that night for his daughter. He didn't think of it as saving anything. Mostly, he thought about how rooms carry whatever you put in them. A slammed voice makes a sharp space. A simple yes can soften it. He thought about how a bad jam isn't solved by yanking. You pause, find where it started to fold, and work from there. He thought about how much can change with a card swipe and 10 minutes of staying put. He didn't tell anybody about the $42. He did not put it on the calendar or add a leaf to any tree. He just kept working. He left a note with tape on the printer that said, "Ready," and laughed because it didn't need the exclamation point he had almost added. That afternoon, he changed a bulb above the return slot. The old one had gone dim, a tired brown yellow that made the covers look sick. He climbed the step stool and untwisted the glass with both hands. He could feel the weight more than you'd think a bulb would have. He set in a new one, took a breath, and flipped the switch. It flickered once, twice, then held. Warm light spilled down on a line of spines in every color. Dust floated like slow snow, bright and soft. Someone dropped a book in the slot, and it thumped in a satisfying way. He stood on the stool for an extra second and watched light fill the little rectangle of air he had made. Through the front doors, he could see the sidewalk. The boy in the red hoodie walked past with his hood down. He held a folded piece of paper in his hand and tapped it against his thigh as he went. The man stepped down, folded the empty bulb box flat with his palm, and slid it under his arm. The new light held steady, and for a moment everything under it looked easier to read.